Hey everyone, so I've been hearing a lot of complaints in my YouTube comment section from people saying about how Feral isn't doing any damage and it sucks right now and it feels bad to play, etc. And this hasn't been my experience on the whole, so I wanted to make a video showcasing what I'm trying to do in combat, just breaking down just one specific scenario for you so you can see what I'm doing and then replicate that and take it into your own keys and or compare it to what you're doing, and maybe there's something that you could switch up. And eke out some more damage, because I've been hearing all these complaints about how people are struggling to compete against like mages and DKs and all this stuff, and for me, I just haven't really been struggling as much in damage compared to some of these other specs. Like Feral actually feels decently strong right now. Doesn't feel like it's meta, but it feels decently strong. So and it brings a lot to the table in a lot of these dungeons. So let me break down the scenario with you. We're just going to watch it a few times over, and I'll break it down as we go. So for now, I'm just going to let the video run, and I'm just going to watch the whole scene through, and then we'll talk about it, and we'll slow it down. So going into Necrotic Wave 12, playing with Now, great tank. I know that he's going to go nuts here. I know his route. We're going to bring in a Gatekeeper. This is my big focus target. I want to make sure that I'm putting as much damage into that as possible. Trying to get my Blood Talons up as fast as possible, Primal Wrath and everything, get into my cooldown window, and make sure that I'm single targeting down this Gatekeeper and putting my bites into it. And with the help of the implant talent on the hero tree for Wildstalker, I'm going to do a lot more pulse damage to everything around me, like AoE damage to everything from those bursting growths. So focus on that Gatekeeper. Now I'm looking for new Vine targets. When I find these new, and I'm looking to rake spread and stuff and use my swarms, when I find these new Vine targets, I'm biting them like as a priority. So I'm trying to, when I see a Vine target, track it whilst I'm doing my other rotation stuff. I'm looking for new Vine targets for when my primary Vine target is running low. Now this is like minor extra damage. I mean it's an extra like 10% damage over the course of the key if you play really well with your vines and bursting growths and stuff. But yeah, for me, I'm able to like track those, and you can get a UI element or something like weak or something like that to help you when you're seeing these vines. I would love for Blizzard to default make it easier to see, but that's okay. So setting up for this pull then. So burst like 8 million DPS there. We don't have an Org, so that was just like all me. I don't... Did we Bloodlust? Yeah, we did Bloodlust, so that's something to keep in consideration. We got Monk buff, but okay. Let's break this down a little bit then. So, my tank starts pulling everything up. I know he's going to go big. I don't want to pull aggro off any of these mobs, so I'm being very careful. I'm following my tank closely, but I don't want to get... you can, and what you will see me do, is start hitting these mobs, and instead of raking from stealth, I'll actually shred, so that I don't stun the mobs, because that can be really annoying for the tank, and then they can lose aggro on those mobs, and then they kill the healer. So, I don't stun anything whilst the tank is gathering. And because this is the first pull of the dungeon, I need my combo points. So, I'm going to start with, I might start with a, normally I would start with like a shred, then maybe a rake, thrash, brutal slash if I need it to get to 5. Then I can primal wrath, do a couple more rakes, and then when everything's gathered up, then I can unleash with one more Primal Wrath, build up 5 combo points, Tiger Fury, Berserk, bite on that individual target, and then Convoke on them. And then if I get any Apex procs from my initial Primal Wraths, then even better. And I'll look to use those before going into my Convoke window. So, gathering everything up. I don't opt to do anything silly here. I just stay in stealth. I don't want to risk the key. I don't want to risk dying here and pulling aggro. So I get on the Gatekeeper. That's going to be my primary target. I find a target here. I rake them. I thrash. I brutal slash. I've got 5 combo points now. I've got my Blood Talons. I'm set. Now I can... I actually should have Primal Wrathed early here. I made a mistake. I should have Primal Wrathed. Then got into my cooldown window. But I Tiger Fury, Berserk, and I brutal slash to give me my 5 combo points. And then I want to... I bite this target... And then I get an Apex proc, but I've already sent the Convoke. So I send the Convoke on this primary target. Again, because of this talent implant, this makes it so that when you gain or lose Tiger Fury, your next single target melee ability causes a Bloodseeker Vine to grow on the target for 6 seconds. Now, because of bursting growth, when Bloodseeker Vines expire, or you use Ferocious Bite on their target, they explode in thorns, dealing 80k physical damage to nearby enemies. Cool. So I'm trying to eke out some extra damage there, and this is my bursting growth damage from a 12 mists, which we did time. So it was the full length dungeon. So 7% of my damage was from bursting growth. Now that's a nice little extra, right? Every little bit helps there. So I don't know what your bursting growth damage is, but maybe look at that, maybe consider that. And consider, like, you know, your build and whatnot. But I'm looking to bite this target as much as I can. So I'm just doing, like, bite, bite. Now, something that I want to do. My Tiger Fury is running low. I've got one final Blood Talons, and I'm at 3 combo points. I'm going to Brutal Slash here. And then I've got 1 second, and it always lines up perfectly for me. It always lines up perfectly. Where I can use my final Blood Talons, and my last action in that Tiger Fury, I want to refresh all my Primal Wrath rips as a snapshot with Blood Talons and Tiger Fury. So I do that. Wait. Okay, I should have done that. Do as I say, not as I do. I should have done that, but I just felt the bite, apparently. So see, so even here, this is where I could have made improvements. Because now I'm refreshing my Primal Wrath, and it's with a non-snapped, non-Tiger Fury snapped rip. So, not the best. But that's okay. And then, every time I get a Tiger Fury, so I'm getting another Tiger Fury, I'm looking to bite a primary target. And in the interim, I'm looking to rake spread as much as I can. I'm looking to Brutal Slash and Thrash and build up there, get my combo points, get my Blood Talons and stuff. And I'm not just spamming Primal Wrath. I get some people asking, should I just be pressing Ferocious Bite or Primal Wrath in AoE? You want to establish your Primal Wrath rips on everything, and then you're looking to bite everything. So we'll watch once again, just start to finish. I'll let it play, and I'll talk through it. But yeah, you don't want to just be spamming Primal Wrath. We no longer have the talent, Tear Open Wound, where facilitated that. Because remember, you would play Tear Open Wound, which would do more AoE damage from your Primal Wrath. And then you play Rip and Tear, which made it so every time you apply a rip to something, you deal extra damage from an additional rip. So you do it like every few seconds you'd be Primal Wrathing. Whereas now, we don't have Tear Open Wound, but we have Rampant Ferocity. Rampant Ferocity means we're biting an AoE for our AoE damage. So that is a big priority. And you can see my Rampant Ferocity damage, again, this is from a 12 Mists, is like 10% of my damage. So I'm not spamming Primal Wrath, I'm not spamming the rips. I used in that dungeon, in a Mist, 90 Primal Wraths, and I used 220 Ferocious Bites. So quite a big, in fact 270, because I got Apex procs. So quite a significant number more Ferocious Bites. So let's watch this playthrough again. So areas I could have improved on, I've discussed a little bit, but yes, I could have already started generating my Blood Talons and my 5 combo points, do a bit of rake spreading after that, Primal Wrathing. But I come in here, I generate my Blood Talons with a Rake, Thrash, Brutal Slash. I prioritize my target, I pop my cooldowns, I bite them, and then I Convoke them. Now I get another Vine proc on this target, so I can bite them again. A bunch of ads coming in. Now, a nice little trick I like to do is when I'm coming out of my Convoke window, so Convoke will do a random assortment of Feral Druid abilities, some Balance abilities, and some Resto abilities, but mostly Feral abilities. And from that selection, it can Shred, it can Rake, it can Thrash, and it can Ferocious Bite. But it can't Brutal Slash or Swipe. If you're trying to generate your Blood Talons, you come out of your Convoke window, you know for a fact that it will have done some kind of combination of a Shred, a Rake, but maybe no Thrash, or a Thrash and a Rake, but maybe no Shred. And because you are Ferocious Biting in it, you may have used up all of your Blood Talons. But what it definitely didn't do was Blood Talons. So if you come out of your Convoke and you have 3 Blood Talons, amazing. You can just, I don't know, send a Bite, Brutal Slash, send a Primal Wrath then, or something like that. But if you don't have Blood Talons, that's kind of icky. Because you're in your Berserk window, so you're going to be having so many combo points coming at you. If you now have to sort of try and regenerate your Blood Talons during your Berserk window out of a Convoke, it's really rough because you have too many combo points. And you end up sort of being wasteful and delaying your reusing your Primal Wrath, and then your Tiger Fury drops off and you don't snap it. It's all really awkward. So what I like to do is to guarantee that when I come out of my Convoke window, I get 3 Blood Talons, is I Brutal Slash. Because it's pretty much guarantees I'm going to get it. It's very, very rare that it doesn't happen that way. And it is what it is if it doesn't work that way. But I Brutal Slash, and then I can Primal Wrath toward the low end. Okay, so this is why I didn't... My Convoke was... my Tiger Fury was low, I had a Blood Talons, and I Primal Wrathed here. So I Primal Wrathed a little bit earlier, and my Primal Wraths are all really healthy at like 10 seconds left, so that's fine. That's why I actually opted for that bite. That would have been what went through my mind at the time. But you see, like, neat little tricks like that, where you just maintain your Blood Talons, you get better Blood Talons uptime, you get better Tiger Fury snaps on your rip, like, usage, and then we're just tracking these vines and we're biting, and you can see, like, most mobs in this pack have Rake on them. I am trying to spread my Rakes as much as I can whenever I have sort of downtime from Apex or that kind of stuff. So, that's that. I just thought this was a really nice pull, just showing sort of the full details of, like, you know, what I'm doing, how I'm trying to play this through. This is what I'm trying to do every time I have my cooldowns, aligning my Tiger Fury with my Berserk and my Convoke. A last final little tip I'll give you, actually, this is something that I haven't spoken about in other videos, but I really should, is whenever you try and get to the dungeon as early as you can when you join a group. So they can't kick you. It's kind of like if somebody invites you into their house, you know? You're in now, they can't remove you. So, once you're in the dungeon, start swarming. Don't help summon, because then it's going to ruin your swarms. But get into the dungeon and start adaptive swarming everybody, so that when the key goes in, I've had it in a lot of keys where I have every single player in the group has 5 swarms. So then we go into that first pack, and swarms just fly at everything. And that's a really nice helpful tip as well at the start of the key. So always, like, spend like 2-3 minutes at the start of the key before it goes in, just swarming up everybody and get them really nicely saturated on everybody. So you can see here I've got I'm about to have a 5-stack, a 2-stack, and a 4-stack. So then when we start the key, we'll see what we end up with. So we start the key, I've got a 4-stack, a 3-stack, and... I've got a 3-stack, a 4-stack, a 4-stack, a 4-stack. Before the key's even started. Now we go into this pack and you're going to see these swarms start flying at... hopefully some of these mobs. Yeah, so some mobs, there's a couple here. But now they're going to start dropping off. So we're going to get a few little swarms there. There's a good few. There's maybe like a handful of mobs there that have some swarms on them. And it just helps you continue that swarm growth into the rest of the dungeon. Compare that to if you started the key with... and you only use swarm just before your tank pulls. For the first 8 seconds, you have a swarm on you. And then it jumps to 1 target. Maybe 2. Whereas this way, I had like 5 mobs get a swarm on them. Maybe 6. So 1 jumps to my tank here. I can't see where the rest are jumping from. Oh yeah, there's 1. Jumps to a mob. Another 1 jumps to a mob. So, yeah. That's kind of nice to have. Extra bleed damage on everything. So, yeah. That stuff, those little extras really help. But anyway, I think this has been a nice little overview for you. I think, hopefully, this has, you know, been helpful. In terms of whether you should play Wildstalker or DOTC, play DOTC if you want. Play Wildstalker if you want. I think they're similar enough. Just have fun. I've been playing Wildstalker in all of my 11s and 12s and everything, and I'm pumping, so don't sweat it. Yeah, have fun. Hopefully this was helpful. Thanks for watching. Take care. See you in the next one.